Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Spiritual Discoveries with Angie and Friends. I'm happy to see you today on this beautiful sunny afternoon here in Lilydale. Hello, Jalen. Hi. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I didn't hear you. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, I said I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm doing real well. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited, everybody, to have Jalen on. We've talked about this for a while, getting on and talking and collaborating and working together. And everybody, this is my friend, Jalen. Okay. It's funny too, because Patricia wanted to come on and talk about Children's Week, and you do a lot of work with children and teens.
Yes, I call it a very synchronistic conversation, being in alignment to some of the work I do.
I thought so too.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of my work is about teaching how to tap into your intuition, to your inner self from an artistic space, and how to use that superpower of your inner knowing, your inner compass, in order to help you evolve into a better person. And that's in a nutshell, what I try to do with the children and young adults that I work with on a day-to-day basis.
I love it. I love it. I have goosebumps just you talk. I think it's amazing. So, all right. So talk about. So I have your bio. I'm not going to read. I won't make you listen to your bio. But but still though, let's talk about it though, because you've
Yeah.
been an artist since the age of 4, right? You've always been interested in different forms of creation, painting, drawing, and sculpting. So talk about that a little bit, about art and how you got into it and how it's because as we talked about art being a way to heal your soul. So how has it done that for you?
Well, art has always been there for me. I'll go back to this. If I go back to the origin story, my brother told me, and he was like 13 going on 14 at probably around this time. He saw me drawing at the age of 2, drawing circles on the middle of the floor. I guess I was pretty easygoing baby. Just give me a paper and a pencil and I would figure it out.
Hmm.
But art has always been an anchor for me, keeping me
Hmm.
grounded, especially during times of when things were going well, and also when things are not going so well.
Yeah.
And in that process of that, I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I can answer your question this way. Yesterday will mark over 20 years since my grandfather passed away, and he was a very pivotal force in my life in being able to. He recognized the talents that I had, and he really took the time to cultivate and give me the confidence to really go after making something out of my artistic talents. And with his transition, I really leaned upon art as a way to help me heal through the grief of him not being physically present anymore.
Yeah.
And being able to use art as a way to, you know, not only benefit myself, but as a way to honor his memory in the process.
Excellent. So would you kind of almost feel like art would be like when you start drawing, is that a form of meditation?
Yes, it's definitely a form of meditation. Meditation is not just solely, bare locked into you sitting in a quiet space, legs folded, and you have your mudra set with your hand positioning. Meditation is being in a space where you can be fully aware of not just fully aware of where you are in the moment and how you're relating to in the moment,
Yeah.
and being able to utilize the information not as non-judgmentally as possible to further develop and cultivate those things within yourself in
Yeah.
order for you to get where you want to go, wherever
Yeah.
that purpose is for you.
Love that. Okay, so what about like there's me who I can't draw. Like I remember my grandkids asking me to draw a person and I drew a stick figure and they said that's not good. You have to draw better. So what if you're not an artist? How can you use art as meditation and to heal your soul?
Well, I always say this for my non-artistically inclined people. You know, art, the expression of art is creativity. I have a lot of people that come across me when I tell them what I do. Um, yeah, I'm not artistic at all. I'm not creative. You are creative, but you haven't trained that muscle. It's like going into the gym. You're not going to get 20 pounds of muscle overnight, or you're not going to lose 20 pounds overnight. You have to be consistently going into the gym, training and developing yourself. And that's
Yeah.
the same way for art and creativity. Once you find a medium that you have an interest in, you have to be willing to be consistent in practicing that medium to get the skills necessary to get that end result. But within that process, as you're trying to figure it out, you know, you have the technical side of art, but you also have the intuitive side of art. And art has a way of being able to help you tap into that inner compass, that inner knowing, to help you be able to know how to maneuver your way in creating that piece of artwork. And in that process, you'll find that it can be very healing, because you'll start to find your mind will start drifting to making connections to different things that may not be on the surface, not related to the work that you're creating. But you may find yourself saying, as you're drawing that drawing, you're creating that portrait, you're starting to make connections about why you may behave in a certain way and how that behavior may show up in different relationships. And then it's almost like circular, and it'll almost like circularly relate into the work that you're creating, be it drawing, be it painting, sculpting, or whether that medium you're working on.
I love that. I love that. You teach this too, don't you?
Yes. So currently since 2018, I had the pleasure to be able to develop a program that basically teaches kids how to develop their emotional intelligence. And, you know, through the help of the president of Yale University, who was one of the pioneers of emotional intelligence research, Dr. Peter Salovey, he was gracious enough to send me some of his research papers, and I combined that with my experience with art, because I went to school for art. And I created this comprehensive program that teaches children how to develop their social and emotional skills using the three art vehicles: music, art, and writing.
Wow. Love that. And so that's your emotional intelligence program, right?
Correct.
Talk about that, because I read about that. I couldn't wait. I know we've talked about it before, but I'm really excited to hear you talk more in detail about it. Is it so good?
Yes. So with how a typical class, I'll start here, like a typical day in class. If I'm in person, because with COVID that changed everything around. When I'm in class and all my students come in, each student is provided a set of wireless headphones that I got personally customized with, like my logo and everything on it. Excellent. And the wireless headphones, that is for the musical component of the class. And so we'll go through different genres of music to be able to stimulate how they comprehend the information that they're learning, as well as be able to stimulate different forms of thinking as they're receiving the information. So while the music is playing in the wireless headphones, they can also hear me teaching through the headphones through a microphone, and they can also hear each other talking through the headphones as well. Wow. So it's a multi-stimulating experience. And then while they're going through that part, we're learning evidence-based basic psychology, basic neuroscience, and how different parts of the brain, what role different parts of the brain plays into our emotional development, and also our decision making. And then and as they're learning that information, we'll do different either art activities, or we'll do different reflection writing activities around the information, how it relates to them, to make it more personalized.
So what you're doing, and I'm looking at the sheet here on your website, but like teaching them how to manage emotion, understand emotion, perception of emotion, and use of emotion to facilitate thought.
Yes, absolutely. The emotional aspect to how we make decisions, the emotional aspect to our thinking, that sometimes that can almost play as background noise in the background, along with the beliefs and the societal thought process that we may carry when we are relating to one another. And so that background noise is influencing how we relate. And if we're not aware of the background noise, then we can become almost slave or not even not in control of, because we don't have that contextual understanding of what's influencing our behavior in the moment. And so
And that can be just quick, like that's our emotions, right? And how we're feeling about things or what have you. So
yes,
which I think it's interesting we're talking about this, because I had my sister on last week and we talked about grief, which is a huge emotion. And people don't know how to grieve, or we don't know how to feel. And that's kind of what you're doing.
right, most definitely. And
Yeah.
it's a, as you're going through the process, depending where you are in life, when you go into this class, you're almost going through what the great Joseph Campbell, who helped influence the making of Star Wars, you're almost going through a hero's journey in yourself to really start digging deep about who you are and who you are in relation to what's around you, and how to utilize both that information inside and out to create the quality of life that you seek. And
Yeah.
that's what I try to do with the children that I work with. Recently, I just completed a contract working with young teens out of Los Angeles
Did
who
you?
have experienced some form of sexual trauma or some sort of violent trauma.
Wow.
And the feedback that I received from the last class, because I did two classes, a lot of them, as they went through the music part of it, and then when they did the art projects, a lot of them stated how much that really helped them develop their resilience to their triggers.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So I didn't even know you did that in LA. And so you did the whole thing. So you do it all online, like with you send them the headphones.
Yeah, for the online courses, I wasn't able to send my headphones, but I was able to give them I gave everybody when I was partnered with a nonprofit organization, and what we did is we supplied everybody with a book bag, and in the book bag it came with a pair of headphones, art supplies, writing utensils, and a journal, so they can be able to document their growth and their development when we're not in class together.
Wow.
Because what I like to always impart on my students, whether you are in the second grade or whether you are in college, the speaker is not important. The information is important, and your utilization of the information is important in order for you to create the life that you seek.
Yes. Wow. And that's what you're doing. I mean, everybody, how awesome is this? I love this. You have people, when I put you up on Facebook, right away, Grace got on and said, I know Jalen. And actually Karen said, I know Jalen, which, yeah, that's exciting. But I know you worked with Grace and helping teens, right? And that was like an after
Yes,
school program or something. I'm not sure what
yes,
it was. Yeah. And is that what you did? Was this program, or you did like art with them?
yes. It was it was pre-COVID when the
Oh, okay.
when I
So
was like the early
you could do
stages.
it in person at that time.
Yes,
Yeah.
when it was much more comfortable in person.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. It will be again. We'll get there again. We will.
Absolutely.
Grace is on. I see her. I don't know if you can see the comments. There's a lot of people saying hi to you. So Grace is one of them. Hi,
Oh,
Grace. Yeah.
I can't see the chat. I was like, hey everybody. Good
Hi,
afternoon,
yes, say
everyone.
hi. Yeah. Okay. So talk about your blog. So you have a blog now, right, on your website. I'm gonna have Karen put your website up.
Yes. Yeah, I have a blog. I'm slowly but surely getting it together. But basically what I'm using the blog as a way to basically use it as a journal for people to really get a true understanding of what the emotional intelligence work that I do. It's one thing. The challenges with the program that I'm constantly working to develop and improve is something that can't really be articulated. It's something that you have to experience, and then once people experience it, it's much more impactful.
Yeah.
Because art is when I bring up the keywords like art, and then it doesn't necessarily connect with people when it comes to when you say art and science. When you bridge the two together, people get so caught up on art because it's almost intangible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what I do is I try to use the blog to make it more tangible for people to get a better contextual understanding about the work that I do when I'm in the classroom.
Love it. I love that. Okay, so let's talk the Jalen Law collection. So
Yes.
these are your drawings.
Yes, these are my paintings that I've completed over a series of since I started this journey of being a full-time practicing artist, because initially I focused more on creating original artwork and selling original artwork before I expanded out to creating programs.
Right.
And I still do the full-time practicing artwork. Currently I am sometimes it's like it's not what I do, is what I don't do.
Yeah.
Currently I'm working on a mural concept for a pizzeria in Niagara Falls. I'm also working on curating a art exhibit under my nonprofit called Buffalo's Own. I'm taking a cohort of 5 artists from Buffalo and giving them a chance to exhibit their artwork outside of Buffalo in a larger art market. So I'm taking a group of artists to Dallas, Texas in October to do an art exhibit around their artwork for a month with a very popular art gallery in Dallas.
Excellent. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I've known Jalen for a while. He's doing amazing things. Talk about your murals, because your murals are pretty special, and they're around the city of Buffalo and Niagara Falls, that if people are there, they can see them, right?
Yes, correct. I started the mural. I expanded into the mural journey in 2020 when the lockdown started, and it gave me opportunity to pivot and really challenge myself in terms of seeing how far I can take my talents, for lack of a better word. So my first mural project is what you'll see. It'll scroll back around. It was for the city of Buffalo to honor some of the frontline workers, and so so my piece was a 5-foot by 10-foot piece.
Is that
one right there? Yes.
Yeah. Can you stop it? I don't know if you can. Maybe not. Okay, that's all right though. Keep talk about it.
Yeah, I used oil paint for that one, and I worked on it for a month, and I just wanted to honor some of the past and present and future doctors and nurses with one comprehensive piece, and that one is, I believe, it's installed on the Roswell building on Michigan High Street. But that opportunity took me to a larger mural project in Niagara Falls for the Niagara Falls Heritage Center, where that piece right there, I did a legacy piece around a Niagara Falls professional boxer by the name of Calvin Pop Porter. Now, the reason why I say legacy is because prior to the emotional intelligence work, I've developed a program, which is what I'm going to work more on the future, for hospice patients, called the Legacy Program. And it's a multi-level portrait where I interview the hospice patient, and I take the information from the interview and I create a portrait around their life. And, if they are still alive, for me to present the final piece, and I get their blessing. And so I frame the artwork, and then based on their selection, I give it to either their family, friend, or family or friend, in order as a way to help decrease the impact of grieving for the hospice patient, with grieving their own mortality, and decrease the impact of grief for their family member. And then on top of that, once they receive the portrait, they also receive a recording of the interview that I did through a QR code.
Wow, that is beautiful. I love that. That is awesome. What a way for them to kind of leave their legacy, and what a gift for the families then to have that after. So they get a recording of you talking to their loved one, and you make a painting of their life.
Yes, absolutely. Because how many times do we lose a loved one of ours that we truly care for? They transition, and we have a voicemail of them on our phones, and then for some kind of way, the voicemail gets deleted or the phone gets damaged, and we never hear their voice again. and
Yes.
that then that adds another level of loss. But
Yeah.
with this strategy is to help close that gap to where as long as they keep and maintain that QR code, they will always forever have that, because that will be stored online through a private link for them to constantly listen to.
So it's always there. That, you know what, I've had people say that I wish I could hear her voice again, or I wish I could hear his voice again, and
Right,
something like that, or even just to hear the legacy. Like, I wish I would have talked to my mom and had her write a book or something, because there's so many things I can't remember, right? And I
right.
think loved ones too, they want to be remembered. So that's comfort, so much comfort for people. I love that. It's beautiful. Would you do that, like, say, if somebody's already passed, and then talk to the family? You could still do it, right? Because they could talk about their memories and you could still create the artwork.
Yes. To on us in my own personal life, I've done that. So last year I did a lot of I became curious about my family's genealogy, and I was
Hmm.
able to find 4 generations on both sides of my family, and I was able to find a picture of my, I think, 3 times great grandfather.
Hmm.
Um, and you know, and on top of that, I was able to find a a whole family reunion book on his life, because he lived during the 1800s,
Wow.
and they were able to describe how his voice sounded, how tall he was, how he walked, and
Wow.
so I did my own version of legacy for myself, and did like a sketch of him, um, to 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 get that same experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'd have that. I love that. Don't that's awesome. I know that you told me a little bit about that you were doing this program, but now I'm hearing more about it. I love it. I mean, you are such a healer, like, in all ways, like doing that, but doing the artwork and helping teens and children to feel their emotions and know how to deal with them, or art kind of is as an outlet, it sounds like, for that, and to get focus on art and understand your emotions.
Yes,
And we
yes,
have to, like, isn't that like one of the things I think in life, and I know I myself have done it, is we don't feel the emotions, we push them down because we're busy, right? And
right,
and and then, like you said, they're kind of affecting us, and we're going through our lives, and we have something outside, we don't know why do I feel like this, or why can't I get past this? And
right,
so you're teaching them and kind of giving them a gift they can use for their whole lives, to understand and not suppress, how to deal with emotion and not suppress it, right?
right, right, and be able to get into that space to utilize that, if it's a painful sensation, utilize that pain, and become your own alchemist. Turn
Yeah.
that To be able to transform that pain and transmute that pain into a golden experience, to be able to to use art to find a way to non-judgmentally, objectively observe that pain,
Yeah.
observe those uncomfortable emotions, um integrate the lessons from them, and then be able to go on and move forward, having a larger tools in your toolbox, um to handle the situations that may have caused that pain initially, um but to come at it from a more resilient, a more evolved state.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. I mean, and that's like you said, using it, even like I think about in mediumship or intuition, you're nervous, but you can use that nervousness to propel you, right? I mean, it's using whatever there is and learning from it.
Right, right,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
I wanted to ask you too, the story about the boxer, when you had that was the boxer that you drew. That's in Niagara Falls, right?
Yes, it's on
Wasn't there
a
a story about him too?
yeah, so his name is Calvin Pop Porter, and he was a professional fighter based out. He was born in Niagara Falls. He made the 1980 U.S. Olympic team. I believe that was the team that didn't go to the Olympics that year, but he moved on from there. He moved to Philadelphia and trained in Joe Frazier's boxing gym, and he
Wow.
trained under the tutelage of Joe Frazier at the time, and he fought 10 fight before he ended up getting blinded in one eye, forcing him to retire. And in that process of him retiring, he moved back to Niagara Falls, and he was very impactful in the community, with some of the youth in his community, teaching some fighters. A lot of those fighters became trainers themselves or became fighters in some shape or form. But unfortunately, I believe it was like the early 2000s, he transitioned trying to break up a domestic dispute between a friend and his girlfriend at the time, and he ended up catching the worst of it. So it left a void in the community, to a silent void in the community. And so when I applied to become one of the muralists in 2020 for the Heritage Center, they selected me. I wanted to work with Calvin Pop Porter because I was familiar with who he was, because as a youth, I used to box as well.
Okay.
And instead of just merely doing a traditional portrait mural, I decided I wanted to integrate the legacy program into this because of that void. And so what I did first is with the help of the Heritage Center and with the help of Mr. Saladin, who works at the Heritage Center, I scheduled an interview with his surviving siblings. And I interviewed them. I recorded the interview. And then the last interview that I did in the process, I interviewed his oldest son about his life and who he was and what did he mean to the community of Niagara Falls. Wow. And so when I completed the artwork, I wanted to use color as a way to pull and magnetize people into the work, to get an interest into who this figure is.
Right.
And on the very right side, or my right to your left of the mural, I installed a plaque that has a QR code on it where people can scan that QR code, and it will take them directly to my website where they can watch both of the interviews that I did with his 5 siblings and also with his eldest son about who he was.
Wow, that's beautiful. Like, what a way to honor him. And that painting is beautiful. I love it. It's so nice. Where is that if people want to go see that? I know it's in the Falls.
Yes. I believe the street is called
here you are.
West Depot. But it's right on I believe that's their main street. But it's right on the main street of where the Heritage Center Museum is at.
Okay.
But I believe that street is West Depot. I don't have the if I can recall.
Yeah, that's that. I want to go to Roswell and see the other one. That's beautiful too. You're so talented. I mean, the detail in your paintings, and I think too, it's the emotion, and that you're doing things to honor people, like to honor Calvin Pop Coolidge.
Pop Porter. They call him Pop because of his punches.
Okay, and that you did honor the workers for COVID too is amazing. The medical workers, I love it. So Jalen, if people want to know, like say somebody wants to talk to you like about the emotional intelligence program, or when is the next one? I mean, I definitely think that you have to like have one of those through Santosha for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. If anybody would like to talk to me, you can contact me through my website at thejalenlawcollection.com.
I think Karen, actually I see right there. Oh, actually, I just noticed Karen posted in comments. So
yes.
And they can find out about the emotional intelligence program and the pictures if they have somebody in hospice, or if you had somebody that passed and you want to have their life story documented and a piece of artwork. I mean, I have to talk to you because I think I need to get one for my sister. That's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You can gladly contact me through my website, thejalenlawcollection.com, to get to contact me, whether it's about art, whether it's about my artwork, whether it's about emotional intelligence or the legacy program. On another note, what I expanded into this year is I decided to do my own online classes around emotional intelligence. So I completed my first independent online class with about 20 kids.
Did you?
Earlier this month. I haven't got the second class released yet due to my hectic schedule. Currently, I'm in Georgia. I just finished running a track meet.
Oh, I wanted you to talk about your track too, because I know you're also an excellent runner. But finish what you're talking about, and then you can tell us about that.
Yeah. So, but I plan on doing the second class of emotional intelligence. Where we'll meet online. Again. Probably going into the fall, most likely.
Okay, okay, I love that. That's excellent. And okay, so talk about your running.
Well, running is a family sport. I say that because on my father's side, doing the genealogy work, and the family history work, I found out that I'm related to um, an athlete by the name of John Woodruff. He was an 800-meter runner.
Hmm.
It means he ran longer distance than I did, and he was a world record holder in the 800-meter, and he was on the Olympic team with Jesse Owens during the time 1936 in Berlin when the Nazis were in power.
Hmm.
Um, and I was also found out that I'm a distant relative to Jackie Robinson, who was also a prominent track athlete as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Um, on my mother's side, running is very popular. My brother, he was a professional athlete as well as a national champion with the University of South Carolina. For me, I currently train with a team based out in Europe, in Spain, and my seasons are we travel around the United States. The United States, we have circuits, so you have the circuit in the United States, circuits in Europe and the Caribbean, and that's how one-way runners make their living as professional runners.
Wow, beautiful. I love it. I love that. I didn't know that about your brother too. That's awesome.
Yes. And I just completed a track meet here in Georgia. It was I just found out it was like televised, not like to like today. But this is like one of my second to last meet this year. My last meet will be in Memphis later this month.
Oh wow, good for you. Good for you. You know, Jalen, I wanted to ask you too, because I know the last time we talked, you're doing some work and helping around the situation, the shooting at Tops.
Yes. I'm currently working. I'm part of a committee that's partnered up with the Tops as well as with the Buffalo Urban League, and we are creating a public art installation. So myself, I'll be doing a public art installation with a cohort of other African American artists, and this will be used to honor the community and also honor the memory of those lost.
Mhm.
And people will have different themes: family, children, um, themes along that matter of artwork that will be installed by Tops themselves around the Tops on Jefferson. And I am working on a project where I'm working with one of the survivors of Tops. It was a little girl named London. I'm working with her because she's an artist as well, and I'm using this time to my intentions are to mentor her and to help her cultivate and develop her artistic abilities,
Yeah.
and be able to give her a chance to create a piece for this installation.
Mhm. That's beautiful. And you're gonna help her like through art. I can feel that so strongly. She's gonna heal because she doesn't know what to do with her emotions and everything that's kind of left with her. And that's
Right,
what you're gonna work with her on.
right, exactly. And it's my intention to just do the best that I can to be able to at least give her an opportunity to do that and be able to move the emotions, process, integrate, and to become stronger than what she already is.
I'm getting
And
chills. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
but
you.
the installation, the I think we're going to do a public unveiling in the installation, and it will be July 15th. So in a couple weeks, and it should be very interesting and exciting in a very weird way. Hopefully this will
No,
provide more healing.
yeah, it's a good way because that's what it is you're helping them heal. You know, because I think there's so much pain in that and in the community where it happened, but everywhere, you know, and you're helping people heal. It's amazing. Thank you.
Yes,
What you're doing.
no problem.
You know, I have Diane, and she says, here, I'm gonna pull up comments so you can see, because I know you can't see the comments. This is wonderful that you can work with them to honor those that were lost at Tops. I have goosebumps. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, here's another one too. I want you to see them. Thanks for the date. This is Sharon. Thanks for the date of the installation so we can attend. All right.
Yes,
Excellent.
absolutely.
Yeah, we better have you back on and talk about that some more. This is just Colleen. Cool. Too, you know. Yeah, and Grace, I find them. I'll send you the comments so you can see them. But yeah, I think
Okay.
we're getting good comments all the way around here. So I want to post Jalen's website for everybody. Let me see if I can find that. Here we go. That might be your Facebook page.
I posted his Facebook and his website. I do see that you have a newsletter, so I would encourage people to sign up there as well, right? To follow your latest work. That's pretty
yes. Yes. On the newsletter, I every month I provide our work of the month that I'm working on, as well as giving people updates on the emotional intelligence work or any other installation projects that I may be working on, either here or in different areas of the country.
Excellent.
So just to stay up to date, follow the newsletter, and you will receive, full up to dates about all the different nuances and projects that I'm working on.
Okay. Is this it
so
here?
This is one of the most recent newsletters that I completed.
Wow.
This month will be my business anniversary in a way. So I started in 2013 with building an art business around my art, around my talents while I was in college. So I'm just celebrating my for that email newsletter. I was just celebrating my anniversary in a way.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary. That's quite an accomplishment. That's awesome. You don't have an example of one of the hospice pictures, do you? I don't know. I didn't look on there to see.
I have one on my website. It is under press, and it's one of the early pages. There's one particular legacy portrait that's done of a man named Veranza Bowers Jr. You should be able to see. And to give you some brief history, in 2016, I graduated college. I knew that I wanted to go down this path to really figure out how to be a successful full-time practicing artist. And so I hired business coaching. I got a business coach, and I did like a 12-week boot camp. And my business coach, Miss Veronica Conway, who's an amazing person, she has a very unique history. Her father was part of the original Black Panther Party. He came from Oklahoma, moved to Oakland, and he was very, the political climate of the time, and seeing the struggle of the everyday Black people in his community, inspired him, wanted to take community action to really improve the lives of the people in the community. So he joined the Black Panthers at the time. And at the age of 25, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Bowers was arrested on charges of murdering a sheriff, I believe. Wow. But when you look at the case records and you look at the evidence, he was sleeping in his home with Veronica, who was a baby at the time.
Yeah.
And so the federal agents got two of his close friends. They paid two of his close friends to say that he was present at the time of the murder and that he committed to murder. One got paid in cash and one got paid in Mr. Veranza's property. And so Mr. Veranza, since the 70s, has spent over 50 years in prison across the country. And at the time when I was working at the boot camp with Ms. Conway, we found out that Mr. Bowers had a severe case of stomach cancer, and we didn't know if he was going to make it. And so what I wanted to do for her, as my way of saying thank you for working with me and helping me get to another level in my life, not just in business, I did a legacy program for her as a gift. I didn't really tell her. I tried to contact the prison that he was located in at the time, which was in North Carolina, but the warden kept denying me. But I happened to find an interview that he did in the early 2000s, which was like an hour long, talking about his life and talking about the legacy that he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And I used that interview and I created a immersive portrait of Mr. Verranza and his life. And on the bottom right corner of the portrait, I left that purely white and blank because I wanted that to be a representation of that his story is not over, even though he's going through this illness, and and that's still a story that he has to write.
Yeah.
And luckily and thankfully, with support from his daughter, and he was able to heal from his cancer, and he's still alive. And she's still fighting and advocating. Many others are advocating for his release currently. But that was an example of a legacy portrait that I completed for him. Matter of fact, on my website in the press section, I uploaded the interview that I used to paint his portrait.
You did? Okay, so that's there. I'm gonna be listening to it. Thank you.
Yes.
And I love that you left it. His story's not over, and you left that section, and that you honored him that way. And honored his family and honored his work. That's
right.
Yeah, Jalen, you are doing amazing things. You really, really are. I think you're an example of follow your dreams, and believe in yourself and deal with your emotions. And you're amazing. I'm so happy that you came on today.
Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. I really do. And we'll definitely. This is one of many opportunities we will be working together. I think we'll, as I guess a fellow healer, we'll be doing a lot of healing work together in some shape or form.
100% agree. And we've talked about some things, and we're absolutely going to do more. But thank you for everything you're doing and the difference you're making. And I think it's important to come on and talk about it so others do that too. Follow your dreams, help people. Follow your heart.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I want everybody, thank you so much for watching today. I want to thank Jalen Law, my friend, for coming on, my fellow healer here. Thank you to Karen Sully for being in the background and pulling up all the website information and the pictures. I loved seeing all your paintings. They're amazing. And thank you also to Dr. Reverend Patricia Bell for coming on, talking about Children's Week. So I hope everybody has a wonderful 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. And again, thanks for taking time out of your Sunday to join us. I'll see you again next week. Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you. Yeah.